He don't have a mind to receive righteousness. See that? Go ahead, brother.
Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither you go to possess it.
This is our culture, man.
Right.
That's what we're doing. We're proclaiming our culture, man. Ultimately, the culture that we've been given, all of these lies and everything you see pushed on TV, that has nothing to do with who we are, along with the names, Black, so-called Latino, none of that. Go ahead.
Verse 6, keep therefore and do them.
Right.
For this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nation.
This is your wisdom. This is your understanding. This is how you handle a particular situation. Now, ultimately, we're under the law of the Spirit right now. We're under grace. And ultimately, we can't keep those laws perfectly. But there's a standard that you have based upon what's written in the law, man. Now, ultimately, every situation ain't going to be in this kingdom. But ultimately, that's our culture, man. Not to lay with a woman while she's on her cycle. That's a part of our culture. Cleanliness, separateness, man. Go ahead.
We shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Right. This great nation is a wise and understanding people. What are they looking at us and saying now? They say they shake their head at them. Because if you stay at home on an average Tuesday, look at TV, which I don't even look at TV. I don't even have cable. But when I did, if you look at TV from 8 in the morning to around 3, you'll see nothing but niggas acting a damn fool. Divorce court. I told him, hey, just a bunch of even the judges is niggas. So in 1972, you know, just a bunch of niggas, man. So if you look at it, that image is constantly pushed. That's who people expect us to be, man. And that's why we separate from Black culture, man.
Right.
That's why we make it a point to say, look, that ain't got nothing to do with us. Although you do have Israelites that love it, man. They so afraid to separate from that shit because it's a comfort zone for them. But we say to hell with it all, man. The whole thing of being Black, all of that's played out. Keep going, brother.
Come on. This is back in Deuteronomy.
The other nations are supposed to look to us for righteousness, man.
That's right.
If this guy, if we were in our kingdom, he would be in a whole lot of better situation.
That's right.
Once after you get his ass whipped.
They look at us for positive.
Right.
So now the script's gonna be flipped. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody's gonna be put back into their purpose.
Right.
Everything is gonna be done with purpose today. Now there's gonna be some growth through.
Yes.
But it's gonna be for a purpose.
Right. But he won't be able to roam around and do that. Okay? He won't be able. I don't give a damn. Rich. He won't be that. He ain't gonna be. Now he may be destitute, you know, but he gonna have his teeth. On my island, man. My slaves ain't gonna be all, bro. I don't want no ugly, fucking broke down, stinking ass Hamite around me. Give me like some of the quality Hamites, man. You know. Go ahead.
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great?
But these nations are gonna be brought low, man.
Right.
They gonna have like we in the ghetto. We gonna have particular places in the earth where some wicked ass heathen are gonna be in a low level ass state, man.
Yeah.
You know, but we ain't gonna be flying fucking chemtrails over the village looking down.
That's what they wanted.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. For what nation is there so great who hath Yahweh so nigh unto them?
Right.
As the Lord our God is in all things that we call upon him for.
Right. And that's what, see, Esau, these heathen don't want us to be connected back to that power source because they know once we connect it back to that power source, it's over for them, man. Because really, all of these nations benefit off of the ignorance of the people on their side. Absolutely. With them in their decrepit state, these nations really get rich, man. That's in Revelation. They sent gifts to one another. Us being separated from our power brings these nations wealth, man, and abundance.
You know what? That's nothing new under the sun. When you read the time of Judges or any other time, what happened? Anytime we repented, we got that right with our power. He put us over them.
Right.
Vice versa, if we didn't.
Right.
Same thing has been happening.
It always started with that name, man. It was always the Israelites calling back on that name, man. Those names, man. That was the difference maker, man. The name. Once we start calling on the name, get that in Baruch. They shall you shall remember your the name. What's that? Baruch 3?
2, I think 4. 2
right. Man, 2, 4, 3.
While you in captivity.
Yeah, we're going to remember that name. And Baruch was a scribe of Jeremiah, man. And he had his own book. And there was a point in the scriptures where you had wicked Jake. They tore up all of the scrolls, man. And Jeremiah told Baruch, you got to go out there and prophesy. I think that's in like Jeremiah around 30 something, man. He told Baruch, look, man, they tore up because he was writing all of the scrolls. And you had wicked Jake. They were like, look, this is bringing us hell. The Babylonians are, you know. So they tore up all of the scrolls, and then Jeremiah told Baruch, and they bound Jeremiah. He told Baruch, you got to get out there and preach to him.
The last book in Baruch.
Yeah.
The last book in Baruch. Right. Jeremiah wrote it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was like,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Because they rewrote everything. He said, look, we're going to write it again. All right, go ahead, brother.
This is Baruch chapter 2, verse. Let me just get to the point of it.
Started a good point.
Okay, verse 30, it says, For I know that they would not hear me because of their stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves.
A remnant shall remember themselves, man. And that's what's happening. And this is what they fear. See, this is what they can't alter because this is already written. See, Esau can go pay off a particular Israelite group. They can do this. They can have particular groups teach them market the beasts of the embargo. It's like, where did that come from? 2 particular groups teach that, but where the hell did it come from? There has to be. But anyway, he can do that, but ultimately he can't stop this. He can't stop what's written, man.
501c3.
501c3, all right? Esau only has so much control, man, and he's losing it. You got something else?
I got piece of that.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, verse 31, it says, and shall know that I am Yahweh their power, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear.
He gonna give them a heart and ears to hear, man. And that's what's happening on the planet Earth, man. We're living in a time where it's great to be standing up and doing what we're doing, man.
That's right.
This is the best time to do it.
That's right.
You know, look at all of the lies. Look at how far left this world has gone, man. To be doing what we're doing right now, that's a testament of the power of the Lord, man. This is spiritual power before the eyes of these nations, man. You look at Jake in the 80s, man. You would have never thought, you know. You look at Jake. Look at Jake now. You would never think amongst this people that there will be somebody doing what we're doing, man. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 32, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity.
Woo!
And think upon my name.
And think upon his name. But you got particular Israelite groups saying, well, we don't know the name.
Right.
He put his word above his name. Well, ain't it still a name? Even if that meant what they say it meant, well, there's still a name.
That's right.
And ultimately, the Lord told Moses, get Genesis 3:15.
Genesis.
And somebody get Psalms 45.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 15.
Right.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Exodus 3:15.
Oh, Exodus.
Right. And fuck the serpent too, man. Go ahead.
Exodus 3:15. And Yahweh said, moreover unto Moses, thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob,
Right.
has sent me unto you.
Right.
This is my name forever. And
Right. This is my name forever. Go ahead.
And this is my memorial unto all generations.
This is my memorial unto all generations, man. So Psalms 45 and 17, real quick.
Psalms chapter 45, verse 17.
Are we a generation?
Right.
Right.
So are we not a generation of Israelites?
God.
So if he told Moses, I will make my name, this is my name forever, and my memorial to all generations.
Oh.
How can we not get the name? That's a faithless, weak doctrine, man.
Right.
And it has to be told to you to say something like that, man.
Going to the faint heart.
Here it is, our Lord resurrected, but the Lord can't keep the pure language that Adam spoke, that the language of the heavens and the planet Earth. That's just done away with. At the Tower of Babel, Hebrew wasn't confounded. It was the language from the past. What does Hebrew mean? Right, right, ancient. All right, from the past. The Passover, it passed over. It survived the Tower of Babel. It was not confounded through the righteousness of our forefathers of the family line of Eber. Okay, and I forget his father's name. But there was a group of Israelites doing all of that rebellion that kept true to the culture, to where we can have this platform, man. You're supposed to be pushing that to our people, man. That's right.
Psalms chapter 45, verse 17. I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations.
I will make, this is spoken. This is in the word. Go ahead.
Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever.
Right. So the Lord said, I will make his name to be remembered in all generations, man. Go ahead.
John chapter 17, verse 6. I have manifested thy name unto the man which thou hast gavest me out of the world. Thine thy word, and thou gavest them me. They have kept thy word.
Right.
Manifested.
There you go. He manifested the name. Okay.
Because look, when we lost our heritage, we lost everything, including the names. So right here, he manifested back to us. So that what? So that generation could remember it and call upon the name, man. It links to all the scriptures.
There you go.
You gotta have faith.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
That's
That
right.
doesn't count in the IUIC kit.
Right. You can't buy that off the website.
You can't print that on the t-shirt.
You got some. Go ahead.
It's Deuteronomy 30:1. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Yahweh thy power have driven thee.
Right. This is
And we're calling it to mind. Yeah, read that again. This is Deuteronomy 30:1. It says, and it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations where the Yahweh thy power have driven thee.
Ooh, you can't get around that.
right,
Right, man. All these scriptures we pulling out. If you don't know these scriptures, right, remember and write these down. Okay,
Right.
and put these in your notes
Right.
because it cuts on top of the scriptures you already know. It's an extra cutting that they can't get around, man, no matter what they say.
Right.
All generations, it's not except one.
Right.
It's all.
Right.
Okay.
The so-called white man was not powerful enough to take the language and the name away.
Right.
You see, that's what they're really teaching. That's a faithless, weak doctrine. But then you got to go change your name to Hebrew.
Right.
You got to go stand in the white man's line, get there about 8 o'clock in the morning, take off to change your name to Ben Israel. But then the Most High and his son don't have Hebrew names, man. Right, Tyrone. Hey, real quick, Psalms 135:13. Thy name, O Yahweh, endureth forever, and thy memorial, O Yahweh, throughout all generations. So bam, forever. So you go tell me the name that Seth and the family line of Adam called on is no longer we can't get it. That's what they're saying, and they're teaching you this, and you niggas are APTTA. What they say? All praise to the most, because Jake get tired of typing it. So APTTMH. You know?
Hold on. What? But then hold feast weddings
Yeah.
with the songs in the background,
Right.
calling on the name of Yahweh Shem Shai.
On YouTube.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
The same people speaking out of both sides of their mouths, man, like Esau do.
Right.
Okay, which one is it?
That's right.
Zephaniah 3:9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of Yahweh
Right.
to serve him with one consent.
Look up that word language. Right. A pure tongue. Let's say tongue or language.
Language.
Right. Go ahead.
This is that word language in the interlinear.
Okay. No, you just ain't got no connection. Nah, it's say that gotta be said like, right there. Look up Jews language. Type in Jews language in the blue letters about it. And that word should be Yahweh the Yah. Right?
Language.
Shapat.
Lip, language, speech. Lip, part of the body. It says Strong's definition.
Right.
Lip as natural boundaries, binding.
Right. Because when you read Isaiah, it says, I'm a man of unclean lips. I believe it's the same word. All right? Go ahead.
This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 18. It says, in that day shall...
Because a part of getting
because really it's talking about the pure doctrine, but a part of that is the language. And when you read down, it'll further explain it. But go ahead.
Come on, Isaiah 19 and 18. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of
The
Canaan.
language of Canaan. And what is the language of Canaan? Hebrew. Now people say, well, the Phoenicians had that language first. No, they didn't. Adam's family line had that language first. Stop. Okay, now within the story, yeah, they were in that land. The Canaanites were in that land, but ultimately, that it all belongs to Israel, man.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And shall swear to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua of hosts, one shall be called the city of destruction.
Right. So when you start to see the Israelites come back to their true heritage, their language, the name, and all of that, America would start to fall, man. And that's what you see happening. See that?
And that language is Zephaniah. Precept is Genesis 11:1. So
Yep.
back to that.
Yep. So we have a language, man. You see? And that's a part of the doctrine. When you read Sirach, the prologue to Sirach, it tells you that the words that are written in one language, they ain't as strong in power. And we're supposed to be the top scholars of the planet Earth, man. Somebody get that in Wisdom of Solomon 2. You don't have to get it because you got something, right?
No.
Wisdom of Solomon 2, where it says, what's side not at? Where it's in Wisdom of Solomon 2, where it says we're into the particulars.
No, that's
Maccabees, second Maccabees 2.
Maccabees 2.
Second Maccabees, the second chapter. You got that in the prologue? No, it's like it's like
16:11.
You get the prologue.
Prologue.
We're supposed to be the top scholars on the earth, man.
Rock. Prologue. It says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some word.
So really, this is our forefather talking to us, man. He wrote this for us to read that in this time, and we're gonna prove it. To say, oh, okay. So basically, he's telling the elect, look, we're gonna mess up a little bit, bro. This is a tedious job in translating these things. Go ahead.
which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them.
Right.
And not only these things, but the law itself
Right.
and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference
Right.
when they are spoken in their own language.
In their own language. Did you get that? The proof that we have a language. Yep. Real quick.
Done. So with the changing of the language through the time, man, they like right now English, you got same word, what they call antonyms, homonyms, same word, spelled the same way, different meaning, different words
Right.
spelled the same meaning. So it's confusing now. In order to get the correct meaning to a word, you have to go back to the ancient language.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, of Ammon, and of Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language,
Man,
but according to the language of each people.
right. So the Jews had a language. When you look up that word, Jews' language, it's Yahweh, the Yah.
Yeah, Yahweh the Yah.
So we have a language, man.
Yeah.
It's in the records.
Right.
So this language is gone. And then they bring up the Aramaic at the time of the Messiah. Of course, yes, the Aramaic was popular, but that don't take away from the fact that the true Hebrew was still there too.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the Aramaic was a popular language at that time, but the Hebrew was never done away with. You know, the Messiah himself wouldn't know the true Hebrew tongue, man. Go ahead.
If the white man don't approve of it, they don't believe.
Right.
Right.
But he can give you, but Jake reading the hieroglyphs.
Right. This one, you know how I say it. It says, in the Hebrew tongue, the Lord said, Psalm.
Right.
Right. Right. He told Paul his name in the Hebrew. All right. Yeah, get it.
This is 2 Maccabees chapter 2.
More in that. Go ahead. Though.
All right, I'm going to start at verse 26. It says, therefore to us that we have taken upon us this painful labor.
Start at 24.
24, okay.
Come up first. Come up.
2 Maccabees 2 and 24. For considering the infinite number, the difficulty which they find that desire to look into the narrations of the story, for the variety of the matter, we have been careful,
right?
And they that will read may have delight.
Right. They were careful because this was a recorded history, but it's a abridged recorded history.
Right.
They couldn't write everything, and that's what he's telling you. Go ahead.
And that they are desirous to commit to memory might have ease, and that all into whose hand it cometh might have profit.
Right, and that's us. Go ahead.
Therefore, to us that have taken upon us this painful labor of abridging,
abridging. What does that mean? Making something that's long short.
Right. In college, you have a book that you have to read, and then, you know, college party and everything like that. So if you didn't read the book, you could go get what's called the Cliff Notes. And the Cliff Notes will give you basically an abridgment of the actual book.
Right.
So you get the highlights of the story. So if you took a test, you might not make an A because you didn't read the whole book, but you passed the test.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. And they knew a summary.
Well,
this was the ancient custom of the scribe and the king.
It was a legacy that was passed down that was perfected by the Hebrews, even coming out of the time of the Egyptian Empire. Okay?
Yep.
We always had people that were scribing. Okay? Right. Now, when you leave it up, that if you want a modern day example that you can actually see on like a movie or something, when you go on Netflix, there's a show or series called The Last Kingdom. And King Alfred was abridging his life because he had a soothsayer told him that he was going to die before the summer came. So before he died, he wanted to make an abridgment of all the works that he had did for the kingdom. So he was going over all of the things that had happened, the wars and victories, policies that he had set, his vision for the future, you know?
Right.
So that's what that's a legacy, really, that the Israelites have perfected, that the other nations learned from.
Right. Each king that sat on the throne had to write the laws, the whole thing out. You see what I'm saying? And that's in Deuteronomy 17. But go ahead.
Come. Verse 26. Therefore, to us that have taken upon us this painful labor of abridging, it was not easy, but a matter of sweat and watching. Even as it is in no ease unto him that prepared the banquet.
Right. If you prepare a banquet, he likened it unto preparing of a banquet. Now, what does it say in Wisdom in Proverbs, the 9th chapter? This truth is likened unto a feast. Wisdom mingleth their wine.
Right.
And then Yahweh shall say, prepare them to the feast. Go ahead.
God. And seeketh the benefit of others, yet for the pleasuring of many we have undertook gladly this great pain.
Right, this great pain. So they were into it, man. It's like we should be into it. Every nation supposedly have a language, but then we Hebrew Israelites and we don't have a language. Come on, man. It's time you guys are childish, man. Go ahead.
Verse 28. Leaving to the author the exact handling of every particular,
right,
and laboring to follow the rules of an abridgment.
Right.
For as the master builder of a new house must care for the whole building.
Right. Now, aren't we master builders of this new house?
That's right.
Didn't Paul say you're a wise master builder?
Yep.
You see that? Go ahead.
God.
We're building the house of David.
Well, that's what they want to do. They want to build the house without looking at blueprints.
Right.
Without really studying the structure.
Right.
They want to deal with their feelings
Right.
over their responsibility.
Right.
Reading the blueprints and stuff is tedious. I got this.
Right. Just like this new, which I want to get that real quick. We ain't gonna argue with that nigga back and forth, but I want to get that in Deuteronomy. I want you to read that in the prologue too. But ultimately, dealing with Yahushua and the Torah and the Old Testament is tedious. It's really blatant for us. We like, dang, who is that talking about? But really, Jake ain't really going to sit there and try to link it all. They just like, nah, I believe what the hell I want to believe. All right, go ahead.
God. But he that undertaketh to set it out and paint it must seek out fit things for the adorning thereof. Right. Even so, I think it is with us.
Right. That's how it is with us. See, people when they see a big building like this building behind us, you don't see what's under that building, man. Right. It took a whole team of people to like really plan out and really this goes that deep. You can't just put a particular pole so deep. It has to be a particular. Everything is particular, man. That's how the building of the house of David is, man. When you read in Revelation 21, we don't have to get it. It's a very particular way that the Lord has to describe that building, right? Which is the elect men. Go ahead.
God. Verse 30. To stand upon every point and go over things at large.
Right. To stand upon every point and go upon everything at large. Go ahead.
And to be curious in particulars.
To be curious in particulars. So we're curious if you're out here teaching this word, if you taking the authority to say, you know, look, I'm teaching our people, you got to be particular, man. You got Jake getting all in the screen, chicken is unlawful. Shut your ass up, man. Teach the word, man. Right. Go into the prophecies. Tell the people what's happening. Tell the people what it is, man. Nigga want to just argue, man. Right. Right. And we go, whoever try to get, them niggas who try to get rid of chicken, there's a special judgment coming. That's right. Chicken, we wouldn't be here today. And chicken and quail is ultimately a part of the same family.
Let's go.
Somebody look it up. Chicken and quail are part of the same family.
Yeah.
It's a particular name. It's off the tip of my tongue, but they're in the same family. Right. So if chicken is unlawful, he said chickens don't fly. Chickens do fly. Now they may not fly all the way in the sky like the eagle in particular, but they fly. So you cut right there, man. Chickens don't crawl on all fours, bro.
Right.
Stop.
It's just not that smart, man.
Yeah.
You want to be smart. That's cute.
Right. Read that. It says, this is on Google. It says chickens, on the other hand, are a subspecies of the red jungle fowl known as scientifically as how you say that, brother? Right, but look it up to link it to the quail. Is it linking it to the quail?
Yeah, it's about okay, right now. I'm gonna get straight to it. It says they belong to the same family as quails.
As quails. So is quail unlawful? Jake was the Lord sent quail, man.
In the form of a miracle.
Yeah, in the form of a miracle. They gonna send an unlawful bird in the form of a miracle.
Yeah, straight up.
But, yeah, the fish, he fed Israel with catfish. Now, a fish that was related to tilapia was famous around that time. The Elder Ariella brought that up.
That's right.
Jake was eating tilapia back then. All right, but in a purer form. Go ahead.
God. Verse 30. To stand upon every point and to go over things at large and to be curious in particulars belonging to the first author of the story.
There you go.
But to use brevity and avoid much laboring of the work, it is to be granted to him that will make an abridgment.
There you go. You got to be particular, man.
And if I can say something, brevity, if you go into that, it basically needs to be concise to get the full power of the point, but in a short length.
Right.
Right. And that's what the elders and apostles in New York did for us when we came in.
Yep.
Because how were we getting this truth? We were watching videos on YouTube. Now, when you watch a video on YouTube, they might mention something. You didn't know what it was, but what did you have to go do? You had to go study it. You had to go study and look it up. A good example is Easter. Now, because if you just read that scripture, Easter, you're not going to get the full meaning of what they're talking about.
Right.
You had to look up the language.
Right.
You know, to get deeper into it, man. You know, so when we were coming into this thing, they might mention something just like you listen to a rap song, and they might mention a slang word that you don't know what they're talking about. You have to Google it or look it up to that's what he's talking about. That's what that means.
God, right? If I may bring up a point too, even when you go into the Gospels, man, everything that was done couldn't be contained in books, man. So they had pretty much wrote things out that we could be able to receive, right. And not even just that. But when you go into Revelation, the 2nd and 3rd chapter goes into the letters of all the churches. In order to know what was going on in those churches, what do you got to do? Look it up. But he pretty much abridges and says, look, man, this is what they was doing. This is what they was doing. Don't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right, go ahead, brother. Finish that up.
Back in the prologue, it says, and the rest of the books had no small differences when they are spoken in their own
In
language.
their own language. See that? They're more powerful when they're spoken in their own language. So why not? What's wrong with going into Hebrew if you're a Hebrew Israelite?
Right.
It don't hurt you. Now, we ain't saying you got to know the whole book in Hebrew. That ain't going to happen. But you should be able to read Hebrew, man. You should know the Hebrew alphabet. You should know a few words. Greek, too. You should go into the Greek and show people that English ain't the end-all, be-all, man. We got a language, bro. And English is actually a bastard tongue, man. It's really some put-together madness, man. And Jake put that together.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And it says, for in the 30th year, coming into Egypt, when Euergetes was king, and continuing there some time, I found a book of no small
And
learning.
when you read these scriptures, brothers, read it because he's talking to you. Read what he's saying to you. Read.
Therefore, I thought it most necessary for me to bestow some diligence and travail to interpret it,
Right, to interpret it. Go ahead.
using great watchfulness and skill in that space, to bring the book to an end and set it forth for them also,
Set it forth for them also. Go ahead.
which in a strange country
In a strange country.
are willing to learn,
Ain't we in a strange country willing to learn?
being
So that's why they labored so hard for us to have this word, man. See, it was a miraculous process, man. For us to have these scrolls and everything in our possession and be able to understand it, that's heavy, man. And we have faith that the Lord preserved his word, man. Okay? Because ultimately we believe that he is. You got a lot of people that bring in doubt and try to put it with the doctrine that it don't work. Go ahead.
It says, which in a strange country are willing to learn, being prepared before in manners to live after the law.
There you go. And that's what we're trying to do to the best of our ability, man. All right?